some of the questions that have been proposed by some of the Twitter followers. Very interesting questions. And I'm hoping that we can get a little bit of insight into some of these areas that we know very little about. The first question has to deal with residual energy. There is a theory out there, believed by many, that energy can sustain itself within a specific environment. And as such, this residual energy that evolves within a specific space or area or environment is an indefinite type of thing. It just continues on. I don't really understand it. A lot of people don't. Some people have really solid beliefs in this area. I find it difficult to understand, and I'm afraid to say to even believe, only because I've never had an experience in that area. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. But I've never seen any firm evidence that would, put me in a position where I would be totally convinced. Kind of like what I'm doing here. It's like, people will watch this and they wonder, what the heck is he doing? Once I start this, it just sweeps. And I'm sweeping at approximately 200 milliseconds, which is 5 radio stations per second. So within that bandwidth, you will hear voices come out that are addressing me, talking to me specifically. And the responses, I hope, as they have been relevant to many of the questions I've been asking. All right, let's begin. And we're going to address the first question. Let's go. I think we talked enough about it. I'm going to give us some time to let things settle in, as I always do. I like to tell any spirits that can hear me, and they can all hear me, that I am unbiased. I'm willing to listen to ethereal spirits, obviously, but I'm also willing to respect any lower level spirit that would like to come through. I'm not a judge. I'm not a judge of your character. I'm not a judge of who you are, what you did. I'm neutral. I'm just going to listen and hope that you contribute something significant or substantial that could help us in our quest to learn more about residual energy. Are you aware that it exists? Now, to give credit where credit is due, you're all very intelligent. You all know things, and I'm just asking you to share those things with us. You and I both know where you stand. We all know what you're capable of. We know that you've acquired a tremendous amount of knowledge. So share it with us. And again, I'm not here to judge you. Let's have some fun with the question and come up with something that helps us to better understand what residual energy is. Now, I don't have to explain that to you because I know you know what we're talking about. Tell me what residual energy is. Let's start with that. One thing about me, I'm gonna pause in between some of my questions so I don't talk over you. So, to begin with, my question to you was, does it exist? Is that a phenomenon that exists? Does residual energy exist? Now that can be caused by trauma, a sudden event. It can be caused by a number of factors. If you're able to, we can learn more about that. But right now, I'm looking for a yes or a no answer. So here we go. While you're trying to come through, I'm going to tweak the system a little bit. The question is, does residual energy exist? You know what that is, right? I'm not going to keep it this noisy, guys. I'm not going to keep it this noisy, so if you really want to participate today, you're going to have to make some concessions and try a little bit harder, okay? Noisy isn't necessarily better. You know that. You've adapted to this over the many times I've used it. Does residual energy exist? Residual energy isn't really consciousness. It's just an imprint of an event. Mm-hmm. We're talking about residual energy, an imprint left behind through a traumatic event or some other course of action. Residual energy, does it exist? Yes or no? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to elevate the pitch of your sound because you're sounding too much bass. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to adjust the signal. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of some of the noise on the background. I'm going to slow you down by 15%. And that was a relatively decent response, but it's still not where I want it. Okay, I think you said, "Where's heaven?" All right. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes. That's it. Just 2 more minutes. Rewind, and your voice came. Finally, you come through clearly. Thank you. It does. Thank you for that, sir. My gratitude goes out to you. I appreciate the fact that you put some effort into it. Does residual energy exist? Can it be caused by an event or an experience? It is not consciousness as you know it, but it is energy that is left behind. And you said to me, when I said, does it exist, yes or no? You said to me, it does. It does exist. All right, so I want to thank you for that because I learned something today. I learned something today. If you're actually telling me the truth, and I'm not going to doubt you only because if anyone would know, you would. So I appreciate that. Any final comments about residual energy? That will conclude this session for today.